This is a big craftsman mower with the 100. The reason I say big is it got the 190cc quantum engine. I got it from a guy for well, I paid $40 and got this mower and a couple of pressure washers and a chainsaw for $40, but I'm really just interested in the mower mostly. I'll be able to take, if, you know, in terms of getting something running. The others would be a bonus if I got them running, but I'm not expecting to. Maybe one of the pressure washers, but he had, I assume, attempted to work on this mower because it's missing the carburetor. I could just put a new one on there, but I've got one I've been wanting to test. It'll probably leak, but I need to find out, and I'll throw it away if it does leak. Because I can get carburetors pretty inexpensively. So this is a fuel line is a little more narrow gauge than I'm used to using, but I'm having a hard time finding fuel line at the auto parts store, so I had to take what they had. So I've got this on here. I've got some hose clamps that are smaller than standard, which I think will work. So I'm gonna try and slide this on here. The reason I'm having to do this is because I put some fuel in this tank and it started leaking everywhere, right where this goes on. Let me get a little drop of oil on here, that'll help this slide on. That'll help a little bit. All right, let's see if I can get this, slide this hose on here. I've already got the hose clamp on the carburetor installed. And so now I'm just trying to get it installed in the tank. Now these are snug, so I have a little bit of difficulty getting them on. Okay, that's pretty good. A little bit more maybe would be ideal. Okay, I think that's pretty good. It doesn't just want to fall off or anything. Let me put this gas cap back on. I think just about all the fuel just drained out because it was leaking so bad. I didn't put much in there. Now this is the automatic choke arm. Some people call that the air vane. In terms of its function, it's got nothing to do with the air. It's pushed by a thermostat arm that comes off the muffler. So let's get under there because I want to make sure this is installed right before I start connecting things up here. So 3 5/16 screws are coming off. And to do this, I recommend you get one of these little magnets on a stick from the auto parts store, like that right there. Because these screws are so small, and when you're trying to put them back in, or especially you can lose them down there on the flywheel, then you have to take everything back off again. So there's 1, 2, 3, and I should be able to tilt this tank back. If I'm not, then I'll loosen the screw that's underneath here. That's a 3/8. Let's see how loose this is. That's pretty snug. So I'm going to loosen it a little. So I've got to get under here to look at that, the automatic governor on here and see how it's connected. This has got to come off. Like I said, this is a 190cc engine. It's a 3-in-1. What I mean by that, it mulches, and then here's the discharge sheet. Boy, you got this on there tight. Let's try again here. Let's see. Maybe I had it wrong. Oh, there we go. Probably had the switch flipped the wrong way. I was unaware of it. All right, now this falls off, which is okay. make it easier to work on. Let me go ahead and get this cord off. Maybe the 7/16 to loosen that holster or clip, eye hook, whatever you want to call it. Loosen this enough to get the string out. Don't to fool with that too much. Come on, you. There we go. So now it's out. I can move this vanity plate out of the way. There we go. Now this one does have a cord stop on here, so it keeps it from going in as far as I wish it would. Let me line this up. I'm going to put a rubber band around it so I don't have so much cord hanging off. I have so much to deal with. Let me set this tank and carburetor aside. Right down there. And here's the screw and spacer that goes on this tank. Both of those are in good condition. All right, I've got to get under here, I've got to loosen the screw that holds this dipstick on. And again, that is also a 5/16. It's covered with gack, so let me get a brush on there and clean some of that off. And I can at least see the screw head. I'm also going to clean around the base of it with a toothbrush so I don't get debris when I swing that tube, because it moves a lot. And there's a bunch of buildup of gunk around the base of this dipstick. It'll fall down inside the crankcase, which is not a good situation. All right, so we can get this thing off of here. I know I've got too much torque on this thing. How about medium? Okay, that's the last of the 5/16. There's 3 that hold the tank on and the 1 that holds the dipstick. 5/16 shoulder screws. So I'm wiggling. Now I can swing this tube away. And now I can start going under this rewinder. I get me a 3/8 head, a 3/8 socket. Get this one started. Get this started in the back. Now I can use my drill. These 2 screws are usually a little longer than the ones in the back, at least on some mowers. You never see the long ones in the back. It's always short ones. Sometimes they put short ones in the front though. So that's that. Now this should lift off. I'm looking for mice, wasp nests, and spiders. So far there's none of those. No critters under there. Okay. Now obviously the automatic choke arm is in the wrong position because there's no carburetor holding it in place. Let's see if I can just kind of get it out of the way here without breaking anything. And now I can test my thermostat, and yes, it does spring back, so it's good. And so let me get this old carburetor on there. While I'm here, I'm going to look at this. That's working good. if I've been taking a picture of the ceiling the whole time. Anyway, that's not working too well. There we go. Sorry about that. So, my old carburetor, which I'm going to test, is over here, attached to the tank. And so I'm going to try to I'm going to take this little spring loose here. Very important little spring, don't lose that. You set that down until I get this carburetor mounted. It does have the governor spring, thankfully. He took the carburetor off, who knows what he did with it. But I'm going to try and get this on here now. There's a tight fit. I'll put a wire brush on the end of this L turn on this linkage. See if that helps it go on. Also, one little drop of oil right there where it slides on. Let's see if it goes on a little easier now. Yep, it does. Okay. So there we go. I've got one end of the governor spring connected to the carb, this wire loop here. I'm going to go ahead and attach the other end to this big hole in this little arm, which is flexible. So if you want to adjust the RPMs, you can bend this a little if you need to. There we go. Okay, so it's on there. That gasket. Let's see if I got one that looks a little better than that. Let's see, is that one better? Yeah, this one's a little better. So I'm going to take that old gasket off and put this one on. I think this one may be new. It certainly looks better than this one because this one's all kind of squished looking. Get this rubber gasket off of here. Come on, you. Does that want to come off? There we go. So that one doesn't look as shiny and fresh and new as that one. Not quite as fat, so this will give us a little better seal. And that goes on there. All right. So now I can install this carburetor. I'm going to find the screws that hold it on. This type 3/8 screw has a little shoulder at the bottom that holds the carburetor on. I'm hoping I have two of them. If not, I'll have to go into my supplies elsewhere. Let's see if yeah, there's one over here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a little tiny shoulder at the base of these screws. So there's no threads there, so they're not going to thread in tight. They're designed to hold that carburetor on where there's an open space for that shoulder. Let's see, I think I'll use this at least to get it started. So I've got a 3/8 socket. And let's see if I can get this at least up here and sort of in position to install this. I'll lift the tank a little bit if I have to. There we go. Get a few threads going in. And now I'll do it to get the other one started. On this side. Oh, that's not. There we go. It's not threading in real easily. I'm going to pull this out. I'm not sure why it's being so difficult. Let me Get my magnet on a stick to get that screwed up. There we go. Let me put a wire brush on it. And a drop of oil. I sure apologize if I was taking pictures of the ceiling earlier, but my camera moved on me. Hope it's okay now. I guess I should check it again. Okay, that's going in a lot easier. I had a nose attached to this carburetor that came off of a running mower, but it's still hard to turn, so I'm gonna have to get my ratchet wrench on here. This one. Okay, get my rubber gaskets in place now. That's snug. That's snug. Okay. I can't remember now if I've already looked under there to see if this flywheel key's okay. I don't think I have. At least I don't remember doing it. So let me check that. The flywheel key's been sheared. I'll have to change everything up here. Oh, flywheel key is sheared. No wonder the guy wanted to get rid of this mower. Let me show you what I'm talking about. He's hit something with it. More work for me. More banging and hammering. See that? That's pretty bad. That's sheared completely in two. So that's all got to come off now. Got to remove a flywheel. Got to remove a flywheel. Pretty good angle, I guess. All right, I'm gonna squirt some JV Blaster on there to help things along. Squirt of that. Scrape around the edge with a sharp knife or a fine bladed screwdriver and just kind of scrape around, clear the debris out. Let that JV start soaking in there. I need to take the coil off. That's got to come off. Screws out of there, so I can move the coil. I need this area to put my fulcrum up here. tuck that in there. It'll help stabilize that. Let's see. There we go. All right. Put these screws back in, just as a way to store them. Now to get this flywheel key off, I've got to use a big hammer and pop it off with it. It's easier to do if this engine brake isn't on. So let's take it off. I'm pushing the handle down. So now it moves. With my steel plate. Just a 1/4 inch steel. I'll lay this on top of the head right here. Right there. So I can get a big screwdriver in here. Which is this one. And by having this steel plate here, see, I'm not going to crush that plastic manifold. I may use that smaller steel plate. Hang on a second. There's another steel plate that I borrowed off of something. This might work a little better. Yeah, I think that might be a little better. Okay. And now I need my copper slugs. It's going to go on there, but first I need to put the nut on here. Put it down here so it turns several times, so the top of it's sticking up like a little nub. Now I can put my copper slug there and get the big hammer. So I'm pushing down now and hitting right here. Now I'm going to turn this to a different spot. Pushing down on the screwdriver, not damaging the manifold. There we go, I did it. This off. We're going to get us a new flywheel key on there. There's the old one. Okay, so the flywheel key did its job. It's sheared and saved things in the mower and probably shut off right after that happened. So that now goes in the trash. And let's find another flywheel key we can put in there. Let's see. Into my supplies. There's an old one I pulled out of another mower, but it'll do. It's in good condition. So let's get the flywheel key back, or flywheel back on. Line up the grooves. So here's my groove. Line up the groove, the flywheel with the groove on the crankshaft. Insert the flywheel key in there. And kind of wiggle it around. Oh, that slipped right in there. That's great. Okay, so now I can reinstall the starter cup and the big crankshaft nut. I've got to find where I laid it down. So that's on there. Where did I put that nut? There it is. So now I'm going to put the shiny side down. And return it back into where it belongs. I need to take the engine brake and put it on, so I've got some resistance to that. Impact wrench with a 15/16 socket. That's good enough, good enough. You know, that's probably enough for this episode. If you'll come back, we're going to try and get this mower running. Stay tuned.